Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I'm here with my July Design Challenge team. And for July, the theme is red, white, and blue. And most people, I think, have been doing patriotic, like the Jubilee or 4th of July, things of that nature. But I have this picture of my daughter and my son ice skating. So I'm going to use the No Limits collection by Coco Vanilla. I have never used it. I am very excited. I just got it. And I am eager to use it. So there is some red in this collection. It's kind of a reddy orangey color. So I'm going a hint rogue. There is some red, at least on one of these little cut apart. So I am going to bring some of that in. And so I have a couple of papers that I have pulled. One of them is this one that's a cut apart, and then this is going to be my base page. And I'm not sure about that cut apart because I may use a small one, and then I'm going to mat it on the white. So that'll definitely bring the white in. And then I have these shimmers by Diane Reevely, and this one is white linen. And so, and then I have my little box with the enamel dots or shapes. And I have lots of ephemera in there, and then a couple of different embellishments. And then here are my Dotty About Flair. I have the little mittens that came from the Snow Much Fun collection, and those adorable penguins who came from Penguin Love. And since they are on the ice wearing mittens, I felt like those were the perfect ones to go with the red, white, and blue. So that is the Flair that I'm going to use. I am really excited to be bringing in the red, white, and blue this way. And so I'm hoping that this will turn out how I'm envisioning it in my head. So I've got my papers, my embellishments, my awesome Flair, this super cute picture, and all sorts of other goodies. So let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did was trim this paper down. And you all, this is so hard. I didn't want to trim a smidge off. This paper is gorgeous. So I literally trim like, I think a 1/4 inch, maybe. I just slid it over to the end of the little mat trim. And so now I am trying to figure out which one of these papers is going to work best to help my picture stand out against that blue. And all of them are white based, which is what I wanted to do. So I just trimmed this one down to 4 1/4, and then I'm going to trim my picture to where it will fit on that 6 inches across. And the back of this is a cut apart. Luckily I have 3 of those, so it's okay. So I've gotten that down, and I'm going to trim my picture, and I probably trim it about a 1/2 inch off. Yeah, I'd say it's about a 1/2 inch. And then I give it a fat border, which is what I wanted. Plus it helps center the picture where my kids are. It was a little off-centered. And I had more pictures originally of this, but I think that I've already documented them in our Texas book. So this would probably be going in either that book, or it may go in my 2017 chronological if I decide to do that. So I want to bring these stars in because it's got a couple shades of blue, and it brings a hint of that reddish color. And so I'm thinking I'll do that, but it's not going to stand out. So I decided that I would hunt down some kind of an ink that I could ink it with. And so I got out my Distress ink, and this one is in Ripe Persimmon. And so it's kind of like, I was just looking at it to make sure I had the name of it right. And I'm not wasting this paper, you all. So I cut out what's not going to be visible before I put it down. And I'm not going to ink around that because I want it to have that contrast with that dark blue background. But I made sure to ink the corners really good on this picture mat. And then the piece that's remaining from that picture mat, I'm going to ink it too. And pay special attention to the corners so it gets that really pretty, almost like you put a photo corner there. And then I'm going to tuck that in so that it will border the rest of that picture. And I really do love the way this turned out. So after I get that down, I am going to pull out a piece of packaging And then I'm going to get those shimmers in white linen and just tap around. Now I tap with my finger, which gives bigger plops of the ink. And then I'm going to pull my scissors out and tap around. And that usually will give you a little bit smaller splatters, because I wanted some smaller splatters down on the bottom. I didn't want it to be big blobs. So now I'm ready to work on embellishment. So I pulled out what I needed, or what I thought I might use, from my little box, and it's over there on the right. And then I have my little enamel dots, and I have the chipboard, and I have the accessory. And so I am just going to look at those and see what I want to work with. So I pull 3 different stars off the chipboard, and that's all I pull off. Originally, I thought I might use that Epic, but when I looked at it, it's more of a gray than a blue, and I didn't want to bring that in. I mean, I know there's already some gray in here from some of the paper, but I didn't want to bring more of that. I wanted to make sure everything I brought in was either that reddish color, white, or blue, a shade of blue. So I pull 3 different stars. One of them's red, one of them is blue, and one of them is that darker blue, like 2 different shades of blue, a light blue, a dark blue. I gotta look at the layout, you all, because I've set it aside to dry, even though it really was already dry by the time I was done with it. That's the good thing about those shimmers. They dry so quick. So I have that little banner, and it says, let's go. And I feel like this blue shade is kind of like an icy cold blue. And so I really like the way that looks. And I'm going to put that over here where the star matte paper and that other paper connect. And now I'm going to cut out the little word phrases that I wanted to use. And I'm doing it from the 6x8 because that way I really didn't want the bigger word phrase. I mean, the 12x12 has the same words, and I could have used those if I wanted them all to be bigger, but I kind of wanted them to be a little smaller because I pulled one more thing off the chipboard, and it says Born to be Awesome, and it's in that reddy orange. Really, it looks almost identical to that persimmon, that ripe persimmon, which I love. And so I have those word phrases down on the bottom, and then I'm going to put stars up here on the top right and stars in the bottom left. So it'll give me my diagonal or that triangle effect, either direction, whatever you want. And it just brings your eye right to the picture, which is the point. So I am just using as much of the stars and that red. I really want to bring as much of that red in there, since obviously the background paper is white. The base is, all blue with a hint of lighter blue, and now the white from the splatters. So I want to bring as much red forward as I can. So I've got, of course, the inking around the papers. And so I want to bring that red into all 3 clusters. So I'm going to put away this word awesome because I feel like I can either title this Let's Go, Born to be Awesome, or any of those other word phrases. So I did consider putting like an official title above this picture, where the stars are not the white paper, but in the dark paper. But I really felt like this was enough for the title and for the embellishments. So I am getting my little clusters built up, and I have not worked with cocoa vanilla very much. So I'm not familiar with how well their stuff sticks. So I was pretty much taping or using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to glue things down, just out of habit, because I do it a lot with some of the older stickers I have, hit and miss with American Craft stickers sometimes, like the thickers. So I went ahead and used either my tape runner or my Nouveau Deluxe. So I'm putting down the word phrases now, and they just say Born to be Awesome, Be Yourself, Reach for the Stars, and Too Legit to Quit. And I felt like that was fitting because my son was just learning to ice skate. So he had this little walker thing. It's hysterical. He looks like a little old man. And before the end of the evening, he was done with the walker and was skating without it, which was fun. Not that he is skating now, because it's not something we do around where I live very often. But he did have fun. And so after I start getting the word phrases down, I put the stars down, which came from the chipboard. And I start by putting them like real close to each other. And then I remember I was putting my Flair over here. So So this is the penguins from Penguin Love, and I love these so much. This is my last one, and I'm a little sad. So I might have to look in the store and see if they still carry them because they're so cute. Any kind of winter layout especially, I feel like those would go really well on. They're just adorable. So, and then I am building a cluster over on the left corner, and I'm putting the same stars, but I tried to make them a little different. So I've got chipboard stars in one corner, the open stars in the other, and then the filled in stars on the other. So it adds a little bit of a change up, and it's not all exactly the same, but it all still matches. And I considered doing like a whole one, a gutted one, and a chipboard one in each cluster, and decided against it. I really like the way that it looked this way. And it just kind of gave each section its own little special thing. So, and then I put those mittens from the Snow Much Fun in that same space. And I made sure that the red star and that red circle that kind of looks like a planet, I made sure that the Flair broke up where those two connected so they weren't red on red. And I think that these Flair really go well. It's not the exact same color. The reds are pretty similar. The blue is a bit different. It's kind of like that middle between the light blue star and the dark blue star. It's kind of right in the middle of that. So I love the way that that looks on there. And then I look through my accessory stickers, and I'm going to see what I want to bring in. So there's not a whole lot on the top that I really want to bring in. So I'm going to pull some of the little word phrases. So I pull one that says, "You got this," and I put that in between the smile big and that bottom left corner, so it covers that gap. And then I put one up in the top right corner that says, "Like a boss." And like I said, I feel like that's fitting since my kid's got a little walker. And then I pull out these absolutely adorable acrylics, or not acrylics, enamel. Why I want to say acrylics instead of enamel, I don't know. And I just put some little white stars or circles in each place so that it'll have a circular feature in each of the three places, as well as the stars. And that is it. Here is the close-up. It's super slow, but I would love for you all to go below and follow the link to Dotty About Flair's website. They have some of the most amazing embellishments for you to use, and such a variety of sizes and different styles. So you should definitely check them out. I am loving being on their creative team. I love seeing all the awesome things that these amazing creatives can put together and how they can use their flair to just accentuate the awesomeness on their page already. So I hope you'll go check that out, and go check them out on Instagram, or you can also follow them on Facebook. So I hope you'll come back and see me again very soon. Have a fantastic day, and happy scrapping.